Good morning. All right. So what exactly am I working on? I think the mouse pointer. Okay. So what exactly do we have for the mouse pointer? We currently have a system where we can use the arrow keys to kind of navigate on our menu, but it's just not very good. So I need a mouse pointer that we can move around with a controller, and when we're just testing it locally in Chrome, it's going to need to move around with the arrow keys. All right, so let's think. So maybe a 64 by 64 thing for our mouse pointer. What would be a good? Do we have any just good simple shapes here that we can use? Just we can use kind of a triangle. So I mean, we could just make a simple one like this, and we can kind of angle it and click on it and stuff like that. Though why don't we just do that then? So go Dashkin, UI, static, widgets, debug, and let's just do pointer up. So we pointer hover, and then pointer down. So let's first make this thing. So to do that, I think it's going to be part of our scripts. I guess it's going to have to be an input for this thing. I mean, we could attach it to each screen and have each screen have their own cursor sort of thing. But let's not. That seems kind of silly. So we need a selector. Where is our selector right now? Our selector right now, I believe, is in our index. And we can just use that. Yeah, we've got our selector. Alright, so we should probably do the same thing here. So we get our mouse pointer. Alright. Let's see where we have some of this logic just before we start messing with everything. Alright. So we do have it on the screen. Create unique UI elements. So our selection widgets are screen specific right now. Alright. And this is all hidden, right? Display none? Yeah, okay, so this will create a unique UI element, and we want to attach this to... How are we attaching it with the screen? We're pinning it to the root node of our selection widget. This root element, root node, attach the selection to the root node of ourselves. So I guess we want to grab the stage, perhaps? Alright, so we will go ahead and append this to the stage. Let's go take a look where it is. Alright, so we do have our mouse pointer. It does exist. Excellent. So z-index, looks like we've got these different layers that are attached. So we want this thing to go on top of all these layers. So let's see where we actually set our z-index for our screens, and we can get like max z-index toolbar. Alright, so let's get our mouse pointer. So, let's see, our mouse pointer doesn't necessarily have to be like bigger on a bigger screen. So why don't we just have our position be absolute, our width be 64 pix, and our height be 64 pix. And our background image is going to be static widgets, debug, pointer up. And we're also going to need our z-index. So let's just throw it at that massive z-index. Alright, so there's our pointer. And let's start messing with it a little bit. So that's 30 degrees? Are you serious? Alright, so let's rotate it -45. Alright, so let's do our so what we need to do is we need to grab this guy and we need to do a few things. We need our dot update here for this guy to Alright, so we're at about 60 frames per second. Okay, so for this guy, we want to check if up, down, left, and right are pressed. So if G in game So why don't we have it? Can we declare things like that in JavaScript? Yeah, it looks like it. So if we're in the game, we're going to specifically grab the things. I should hide this debug function. Those are secret codes. Secret codes you can never find out by reading the plain JavaScript that exists. Alright, so specifically grab the controller, do that, do motion. Alright. So let's get our JavaScript key codes just because. Okay, so if, and I think we're going to do key down. So this will be y-axis equals 1.0. I guess we should just do a plus equals. That way it'll all even out. Alright, so we'll set our axes here specifically. So we're going to want like a fade time. So basically if you don't move the mouse, it'll do nothing, so, alright. Alright, so we will say if the mouse is moved, then we want this guy, and so if this dot mlast mouse move time, I guess we need now. Alright, else if L minus. Otherwise we'll fade this thing out. Alright, so we'll do some simple fading, nothing too incredibly complicated. So how do we get this position? I guess it's dot offset? Okay, so offset dot left and top. Alright, so here we go. So we're not going to worry about, having a spherical, a circular sort of thing. If you move diagonally, your mouse will move faster. That's fine. Let's see, what's the absolute value? It's just math.abs, alright. Is there a sign? Math.sign, yes. So we can do these, kind of lock these guys. This will prevent our horrible frame rate jumps from having the mouse fly across the entire screen or something. And I don't think we'll have mouse acceleration or anything like that. We'll just keep it simple to start with. Because this is just UI, we're not turning around in a first-person shooter. Alright, so we're supposed to actually set offsets like this. Alright, so if we're not doing anything, don't move the object. Why don't we do the motion in here just because. Let's see, this will be X motion. Alright, so we have our width and our height. So if we're greater than width, and let's see, let's have a let's have like a just a basic thing. And then we just need to set our offset to our new offset. So let's see if this works. Alright, 618 is screwed. Yeah, that's right there. Key down is not a function. So I guess on key down, on key up, mouse pressed, mouse up. So you have key pressed, key triggered. Well, I don't want to miss a thing, so key triggered and key pressed. I'm surprised we don't have a key down. Alright, so it looks like up and down are not set proper. Basically, we need to work in screen coordinates. So our y motion is actually going to be the negative y-axis. So we'll convert to screen coordinates. So I hold down, left, right. We're bounded there. Does not appear that our right and left is working. Alright, so our left. Okay, so if this value is greater than width minus mouse bounding box, it's width minus bounding box. And then we've got height. Well, let's just change this to a much larger number and see if anything. Let's go to our input. It is line 628. So our width is 2560 and our height is 645. So let's do our width. So it doesn't really appear to do what we want. Okay, so we need to get relative to the stage is what I need to do. So Yeah, I need to stop having this thing disappear. I guess since we're dealing with offset, we don't actually want to deal with offset, we want to deal with like position. So maybe I can just do that. So the offset is -13, -13? Really? Yeah, it's not changing the actual position of this thing. Like I don't see left and top getting changed. So why not? So that position is the method does not accept any arguments. Okay, so basically we need to call this CSS here with our actual stuff so we can get rid of this and use so supposedly something like this should work. Of course we have some issue. 645. I mean, theoretically we can just pass in pause here. Alright. There's too much smart, stupid shit happening right here, which is the problem. We just want to get the top and the left. So like, I don't want to use position, I don't want to use any of that crap. I want just top and left. So maybe I should actually remember these values, because it's just stupid. So let's just do it this way. And of course, just doing it ourselves instead of relying on some stupid other library gets us kind of what we want. And it looks like a very big pointer though, which is kind of an issue. And it's a little too fast. I guess the speed should also be based on the actual height of this thing, so let's normalize the speed. So mouse speed normalize. Let's just have it be like 1024. So this is going to be our mouse speed normalized. So as this thing gets smaller, we should get slower. So it should be our current min divided by this guy, or it should be the invert of that. We need to, as this gets smaller, this should get smaller. So this will, if this was 1, this would be a tiny, tiny amount. And if this was a large amount, it would be much bigger. Okay. Yeah, so that's it's looking about right. Alright, let's change our width and height to be something based on vmin. Alright, and what we are also going to do is, this is going to be an exponent, so we want, basically it's going to be this like x-axis, yeah, so it'll be like y-axis times y-axis times math.sine y-axis. So have an exponential thing basically here. So if we're using a controller, this will make a much bigger difference. And let's start this thing off in the middle of the screen. So this mouse position, we're going to want to grab the width and height of the stage. Let's see if that works. No, it didn't quite work as we wanted. Alright, let's see. Yeah, and that starts us off in the middle, so that's very good. Excellent. So I am going to be right back. Okay, the other thing that we could do is actually animate this thing. So let's get this set up. Oh, we're using the selection active and not the mouse active. Alright, it looks like it is playing, it's just not very obvious that it's playing.